Hey everyone, haven't done results for this week. We had some big tournaments over the weekend, but finally, Fuzzy has gotten home, is able to put the pies up, everything up at VG Paradox. Looks like he had a lot of fun. And DULUTH looked insane, right? Huge turnout, which is always great to see. So yeah, thank you to Fuzzy, who's able to get us the results. And this is pretty much the second last weekend of BCS. We're nearly the end now. And, BT13 is coming out very soon, but I don't think it'll be tournament legal until Worlds. Will be the first tournament where you can run it, because I think the last one is next week. So, we have the 2-week lockout, and that will be that. But let's take a look at some of these lists, right? We got DULUTH here for standard. Pretty much a bit of everything. I'm really surprised at the Bastion, results, right? We don't have the Sapien Owl in English yet. That's coming out in BT13 as a promo. But Bastion's still doing very, very well, right? So I guess, when you think about it, maybe them not releasing the promo was a good idea, because otherwise I think we might be seeing way more Bastion tops, because it's just such a good deck. And then in the top 4, we have Lon Reed from Top Deck Heroes, TDH, right? Coming in first with the Orphis. Then we've got Leo Dong with the Bastion, and they've got Braceland Degen Hard with Orphis. I'm not sure if I said that correct. Sorry if I didn't. And then Michael Housley with Sorceress, Hexa Orb. Yeah. Nearly forgot the deck, right? Normally I look at the Bastion decks, but I think that deck is pretty much going to evolve very, very soon because of the Sapien Owl. And I will have a list on that very soon as well when we talk about the English decks. We'll take a look at the Sorceress deck, the Hexa Orb list. Some changes, right? Sages came in, running kind of the old, just pure Sorceress ride line. Don't have the Aquamarine as part of your ride line, so they're going into the OG and then going into the Aquamarine. Some interesting cards here is they're adding in the Delta Append Sorceress. This lets you kind of stack a crit or a front to the top of the deck. I guess it makes you a bit more aggressive than normally you'd be, right? Because normally with the other kind of builds, you just check top or you like grab cards from the top. But this one just forcibly stacks a card there, which is pretty good. I guess like kind of evolving with the format. The format has gotten faster, and so you gotta be faster, right? You just gotta be faster. But otherwise, the rest of the deck is pretty much similar to before. Probably the new kind of cats, extra defensive power, pretty cool. But then moving on to V Premium, got 3 Aquaforce, 2 Grand Blue, 1 Bermuda Triangle, Shadow Paladin, and Geek Chronicle. Kind of what you'd expect from the majority of the pie graph. It's just like the Aquaforce and the Grand Blue are just really, really good after they got their PRs. And taking it home was Matthew Ann with the with Aquaforce, and then Brian Nugent with Grand Blue, and then Nathaniel Brumall with the one and only Bermuda Triangle, and then Carl Keith with Loire. So I guess I have to say V Premium here is just like pretty much you got one of every single strong deck in the format, and kind of expected, right? Kind of expected. And then lastly, we got Premium, and this one is kind of interesting. 3 Narukami. Narukami still going strong, but a bit of different flavors all around, right? And then 2 Bermuda Triangle and Royal Paladin with, I guess, what's a Jewel Knight and Ultimal? So again, different things going on there. And then even the Bermuda Triangle, right? We got the Highlander plus the Mill, and then we got Dark Irregulars to kind of round it all off. And then actually the winner was Kenzo Raphael with the Highlander list. So able to just, I guess, just do very, very well against everything else. Well, to be honest, if you look at this, against Logan, is it Koka with NLK? I guess like Highlander just, you just go off, right? You just kind of go do your thing. NLK kind of sits there and feels sad. Then you got Lloyd Yusa Brown with the, looks like what's to be a Vanquisher list against, then 4th was Jason Pham with the Eve list, the Eve Mill list. And I guess, to be honest, probably all these decks, except maybe DI, is like a bad matchup for Mill. But even like NLK, I feel like if it just goes off, it's just like give yourself a damage and you can start doing things, and you might have trouble. You might have trouble against that, right? But let's look at some of the decks. So first off is the NLK deck, right? I think Highlander is kind of just, one of everything, and that's just how it goes. This NLK list though is kind of interesting. This is still running just NLK. I know some of the builds recently have been swapping some like Shahrot kind of Gesteel control, but you know what works? Good old NLK, right? Good old NLK with the Hope on Damp and the whatchamacallit, the Barrow Magnus. Just don't ride Barrow Magnus, yeah? I always do. That's why I don't play this deck anymore. And then the rest of the deck is just pretty much there, but just NLK, kill your opponent, that's how it is, into 4 facts. And then here was the Vanquisher list as well. So this one's actually just a kind of a pure Vanquisher list. No full Bronto, of course, because of the restriction. But running the new Narukami Grade 2, that lets you get a top deck check of cards, I guess. So you can always, it's just 10k and, you know, on ride, look at the top 7, sorry. Choose up to one card with only Narukami for its clan or Eternal Thunderbolt. So you can get some pretty decent stuff, able to make your, I guess, some of your rides more consistent or just get some of your pieces that you need. And then, you know, comboing the Demolition Dragon, right? You can't run Sweep with Demo, but, you know, Demo is just such a good card. If you're not running Sweep, then this is fine. And I guess people are just trying to find ways, you know, I guess, like, Sweep not as good as more, let's just go Vanquisher, right? Vanquisher here, and then, you know, with Esperaldias. Yeah, so pretty nice, pretty interesting to see it do really, really well. And then after this, we have a Cardiff. So Cardiff, this had 2 Bastion, right? 2 Bastion, and then 1 Greedon, Chronojet, Ballista, Overlord, Megalon Nozuchi, and Orphist. And then in the top cuts, we see Alex Wong winning it with Greedon. So never underestimate the Greedon. I feel like Greedon's won so much in Europe. Like, Europe is pretty much Greedon land right now. Cheyenne, Armin coming second with the Bastion. So again, Bastion doing very well, even lacking Sapien Al. Dalium Mokobia with the Chronojet, and then Dale Hugh with the Ballista. So I'm actually interested in the Chronojet list here. So here is pretty much what is going on, right? 3 jets, running the Cyclers as well, and then one kind of one of the cats for defensive power, and then, you know, you do the GG, you do the Zargon with some of the Gungaram, and then 1 copy of Ling. So able to just look at the top 2. I think this is, I remember like a BRO list running something similar to this, but this one will just be more updated with like the cats, right? And I guess it comes to show that like Chronojet is still doing okay. I think by BT13, maybe there's like a next ban list and they can unban the Swirler, and then I think they'll bring it up to par again. Or maybe just under par, but at least make it more competitive again. But it's just interesting to see how this deck is still doing okay, right? Able to get a nice top is... Wait, it's like an invite to Worlds, right? So yeah, invite to Worlds, yeah? Good stuff, good stuff. And then in V, we have 2 Aquaforce and Grand Blue, and then followed by 1 Bermuda Triangle, Royal Paladin, Great Nature, and Genesis. So a bit of a weird one there, but the winning person is actually Jasmine Kaur. So with the Orange list doing very, very well, being out Anthony Howe with the Jewel Knight. So literally, this is a more unexpected top 4, right? Majed Hishme with the Great Nature and Sage, right? Sage with the Grand Blue list. So I guess, like, you know, still very, very developed decks. V right now, I feel like anything can win. Like, I think 12 clans out of the 24 is just doing very well in V. So especially now that everyone's got its like PR spot, I think. So yeah, literally anything can do good. Just go first. But yeah, congrats to the top 3 here for making it to Worlds. And then followed by Premium in Cardiff, 2 Genesis. 2 Genesis with 1 Mega Colony, Grand Blue, Nubatama, Gear Chronicle, Narukami, and Bermuda Triangle. This time, no mills at all, right? And this was actually won by Cormac Doyle with an interesting Fenrir list. We're going to look at that very, very soon. Then Kevin Semlali with the Gridora. John Shea with just a Regalia list, and Ansab Khalid with Riviere. So let's take a look at the Genesis list here. Cormac is running this weird kind of Fenrir. I think we saw something similar to this, one of this deck in BRO. It's kind of like a Fenrir control. Wants to go long, but at the same... So it's got a lot of like defensive options. You know, you got the Vanagana. You also got just the Veratrum, so you can just kind of negate the auto abilities. And then you can kind of close out the game by just milling out your opponent's deck with Melissa, right? They spam a bunch of stuff, and they're getting low, right? Just mill it out, and they lose. You have like your Dreaming Dragons to refresh your deck, so you always have more deck than your opponent. But yeah, that's... I'm guessing that's pretty much what the deck does. You can go straight into a Mardik to get that GB, right? And I guess it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting way to play the deck. Very, very specific in a way, you know? Like, very, very... Normally, you think this format is very, very aggressive. This deck, I feel like, wants to play a bit more defensive. But, you know, could prove me wrong, right? Let me know in the comments what you think how this deck is played. That's kind of how I think it is, just from my observations. Then the second deck we want to take a look at is just the non-Gridora deck. This is just the Regalia deck. Regalia, I think people have kind of forgotten about this deck. They went like, yeah, the format has moved on. No one cares about Regalia now. But actually, Regalia is still an okay deck, right? It still does its old thing from before. Remember, Ride Down got nerfed, but this one just strides up, right? It doesn't really care about that part. But yeah, after History Collection, I think a lot of people just forgot about this deck. But it's just still a very solid deck. It's honestly... It's not my cup of tea, right? I'm not always a fan of going, you know, some of these games can go like to 0 deck or 1 deck, very low deck size. Not a very big fan of that, but it's still very effective in what it wants to do. So good to see it do some work, right? And then finally, we have the Riviere deck. I think this is very similar to the BRO deck. Like I remember in AO BRO, a Riviere deck did extremely well, and it was running like this kind of starter lineup with like 3 of the OG, three of the grade 0 Rivieres, and then 1 of the OG Riviere as well. And then this allows you to do some like nice extra combos with your Mermaid Idol Riviere, and just get some high rolls. It's actually pretty cool, right? It's got some very insane... When it goes off, it goes off. It does like pretty insane power lines or combos, and it just can't be stopped because it has the lucky card, which just gives everything fake resist, right? That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Pretty cool against some of the metagame right now. And it came 4th, unfortunately. So unless it was a pass down, won't get to see it. But I think it's kind of scary, right? Premium has some really, really scary decks here. And you just never know what could happen. And then finally we have WGP. So this one was Deluxe Finals Indonesia. This was they nearly had the full pie. Alright. 6 Shiranui. Then 1 Mygo, 1 Morphonica, and the winner was actually Morphonica, and then the rest was just Shiranui, right? Very Andrian coming in first in Morphonica, Ilianto Saputra with the Shiranui, then Audicio Pramigia. I'm sorry about the names, guys. With Shiranui, and Benedict Alpha. Thanks, Benedict. You have the most straightforward name here with Shiranui as well. I actually do have a lot of thoughts about the Japanese metagame. I know Different Fight did mention something about speed tiers and why it's good, but I actually have a different opinion, and I feel like, you know, these things like we'll talk about it later. It's for another video. But yeah, Shiranui doing very well. Of course, it's also a stride deck set, very easy to get into. Morphonica is technically a very easy deck to get into too, just because, you know, it's part of the collab stuff, but Shiranui has a nice sort of power, right, that we'll kind of talk about. Anyway, that is it for not today, right? Just for this video, just for the results. Let me know in the comments what you think of the results. Are you excited that BCS is nearly ending and we're gonna have Worlds soon in Japan? I'll have another video up today because BT13 is about to be released in English, so that'll be up very, very soon-ish, later, like probably in a couple of hours, and we'll see you then. All right, see you. Bye.